Wanna talk? So let's talk. Here. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk.
Good evening and welcome on this pre-4th of July show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for loving America. And my co-host tonight is
Chief Steve.
former Police Chief Steve Davis, and also my friend from afar, Brent Johnson. Brent, are you with us? Are you with us, Brent?
This is Jay Gutierrez.
Oh, that's Jay. Jay, we'll introduce you in just a second. I'm trying to get Brent on. Brent, are you with us? I'm not hearing Brent. Do we have Brent?
Are you hearing me?
Now I can hear you. Sorry about that. Okay, and
There we go. No problem.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, just as a reminder to everybody, we're not celebrating July 4th. We're celebrating independence. Just to remember that. It's Happy Independence Day.
That's exactly right. The 4th of July is a celebration of the issuance of the Declaration of Independence, wherein the people who created this country, who represented people all over the earth, said, we are endowed, meaning all human beings, by our Creator, that would be the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, with certain inalienable rights. Among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which means the pursuit of private property, of rewards for your efforts. That is the concept upon which all of humanity was supposed to be built, initially was built, and of course throughout history, tyrants of various sort and ilk, the latest being Barack Hussein Obama, are trying to take away. But let us get to our guest. His name is Jay Gutierrez, and he wants to talk about a subject that most people know nothing about. Jay, how are you this evening?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you so much for joining us. Now, there are many people, especially in America, that feel this guilt that somehow America is a terrible country. The Russians like to say this, those murdering bastards, that America is terrible because we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. We dropped the bomb on Nagasaki. We killed people, 400,000 people. The reality is we saved 30, 40 million people. It's a tough thing, but tough things happen in this thing called life. But you have some expertise in this area. Talk to us, please.
Yeah, well, what it is actually, I'm ex-military, Air Force and Army, but now I'm a medicine man. What it was is about 25 years ago, while I was still doing helicopters, I'd found some stone on the ground. Figured I'd make some jewelry out of it, put a couple dollars in my pocket, and then that was a pretty rough haul there. But then what I did is I gave a lot away, I sold a little bit, but then I started getting stories back in where people were getting better, tumors getting smaller, arthritis going away. And, you know, I'm an ex-helicopter mechanic. I got to know how things work. So what it is I took the stone that I was working with to a laboratory and had them break it down into elements, and I found thorium in it. Well, thorium's a radioactive element. Didn't think too much of it because we have thorium underneath the ground anywhere we're at. But what happened was I took it to Rocky Flats Arsenal, had the guys check it there, and they said, yeah, Jay, it's slightly radioactive. Well, being conditioned like everybody else, I was scared to death. I thought that I was killing people. I was calling people back trying to get the jewelry back, you know. What have I done? But it it worked out that, and God guides everything we do. We have a wellness center out in Colorado. But what it boiled down to is we had a long history of using natural radiation to help people with a lot of diseases in the United States here back in the 1910s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I saw actually I was doing the right thing, and I couldn't understand why nobody was doing this. So after I've been doing this for about 25 years now, we've got the levels down, the radiation that have been working with people. We work with doctors, nuclear physicists, and in actuality, I don't even think it's the radiation at all, through the natural radiation we use. Remember, we're using stones we mine out of the ground out of Utah and Wyoming. That's naturally radioactive. We don't use something that's been man-altered, and that's where our problem started becoming. We just passed right over natural radiation, and it was doing some miraculous stuff. It still does. The stuff we're doing now is just incredible, absolutely incredible, because we found out working with natural radiation, it wasn't the isotopes that they're calling about that was damaging these things. It's actually the frequencies these stones are putting out. We've been able to straighten out things like colony collapse disorder with the bees, the honeybees that were dying, bringing pHs with waters, working with agriculture, but mainly we work with people in cancer and MS, and doing this for quite some time, and we're very successful at it, and we have a good group of people together, but it's all using natural radiation. And we're out there trying to educate people.
Let's hold on for a second here and try and get some discussion going. Chief Steve, you know, you in the military, you flew helicopters, you've been in law enforcement for decades. It would seem to me that many people would assume first and research second when it comes to anything that has, quote unquote, radioactivity.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, the first thing I want to say is, as a former helicopter pilot, I have the utmost respect for helicopter mechanics. And the person I most wanted to take care of and please was the mechanic that worked on my helicopter. So thank you for that's part of service to our country.
You betcha. I loved being a helicopter mechanic, but God had his other ways. And actually, I got out of the military, I worked for a commercial helicopter company for a while. I ended up being director of maintenance. But then when I asked for a sign finally where I got to try and just do nothing but help people, I got that sign, and I was gone. And for the last, 6-8 years now, I've been doing this full-time, traveling around the country with my wife, working with doctors, working with scientists, clients, mostly with the worst of the worst, like cancer patients. It's pretty incredible. I mean, I love being a helicopter mechanic, but I like this much better.
All right, again, Jay, I want to, the idea of taking this subject is to try and think about it and talk about some of the things, because I don't take anything made by a pharmaceutical company, haven't in close to 40 years. I don't see doctors except to give them advice on ways to stop doing the garbage they're doing and start helping people instead of hurting people. And so I'm with you on that. I just think that it's bigger than just, I want to talk about more than just what might help an individual, although that's important, certainly especially for that individual. And I'm going to talk about this whole idea of the misinformation we've been given, that somehow, unless it comes from a drug company, unless it either burns you, poisons you, or cuts part of your body away, it isn't good for you.
Well, there's perception too. The perception is that if a nuclear bomb goes off, the whole world is going to be contaminated and everybody's just going to die. And so that's really not true. And I know from my military experience that the military, the only reason that they'd ever set off a bomb that would create residual radiation is if they wanted no one to occupy that territory ever again. And most military nuclear explosions are designed to have, after the burst, to have no residual radiation left at all. There's radiation with the light, you know about this, but in reality, you can set off a nuclear bomb, and after the explosion is over, there's no residual radiation at all left over. But most people don't know that. They think it's all just it goes off and the world's over.
Well, that's because we've been so conditioned and we're so scared. You know, you hear radiation, you walk the other way. But let me explain something to you guys here that's pretty, I'm in awe about every day now. When we have natural radiation that we mine out of the ground, and we see it as a truth, because everything we've applied this natural radiation to, which we realized was frequencies, okay? In other words, we would take waters that were acidic, like in a cattle tank, let's take that. We'd put stones in it, and after they'd sit for like 48 hours, the pH in the water would be perfect. Now, there's only two ways to change the pH in water. That's chemically or with frequencies by restructuring the water. So that's what we've been doing with the natural radiation. Now, since we've been using this for so many years, everything we've applied these understanding was frequencies, everything we've applied it to, it's always made the right move. It's always done the right thing with cancer, or if we're working with bees, for goodness sake. In other words, it always does a smart right thing to do. Now, once man has taken that, which we call a true frequency, and they've altered it, let's say enriching uranium, what we've done is we've created an untruth. In other words, we skipped right on over into taking this like uranium out of the ground and enriching it to make these powerful things that destroy. And we walked right over natural radiation, which is not only destroys, but it repairs. We see this, the miracles we see. We're in the miracle business. We see this every day. We see people walk around cancer-free. We have a whole group of people, wellness instructors with my company, Nighthawk Minerals. We work with medical doctors. Well, we understand it's the frequencies that were off this. In fact, I had one of the top nuclear physicists on this subject, Dr. Charles Sanders. He was at my wellness center in southeast Colorado. We're in High Plains Desert. And I think he's come out a couple of times, locked me in a room last time, and until I could get it validated out of him that it was frequencies these are putting out, in which I was able to do. And when I did that, I know that I'm telling the people we're helping with, such as cancer, the truth, you know. And everything we've been able to explain to them and see with this, it's done what we've expected to do and then some.
All right, let me get Brent in the conversation. Brent's a knowledgeable guy. He's a journalist. He asks questions that some folks wouldn't ask. Brent, your thoughts?
Well, my first thought is I'd like to get, Jay, if you would give us some basic definitions as to what constitutes what you're calling natural radiation. You know, just some basic definitions. And then I have a secondary question I want to run by you. But first, give us some definitions. What exactly is natural radiation, and from where does it come?
Okay, natural radiation can even come from the sun. Okay, we all know that. But the natural radiation we mine low-grade uranium ore, and we mine in Utah, and we mine semi-precious gemstone in Wyoming that's got loaded with thorium. It's a copper stone. It's called chrysocolla. So these are naturally occurring radioactive elements in the ground. Okay, we take Geiger counters, we measure them out.
And
so that's what I would see as natural radiation.
When you measure them out, can you give us the measurement range, please?
Sure. All the things we make at Nighthawk Minerals, and by the way, if you ever want to go there, it's nighthawkminerals.com. Everything we have in there has been measured out, has to fall within a certain range that we know from the past has worked. In other words, we have no examples to follow. We're the only ones in the country that do this. It's the world as far as I know. And so what we've established over the years is what's been working and what could overwhelm. But so anything runs between, let's say, 1 millirem per hour to about up to 30 millirems per hour. It's rare if we ever go that high. That's usually with someone that's got a couple weeks to live, and we got to hit them with everything we got. And we're very successful with it. But between 2 and 30 millirems, now, what happens is a lot of these scientists and guys, they email me, and they're always asking me, they're saying, Jay, how high can you go with the natural radiation before you start causing damage, okay? Well, here's the deal. Once you get past your effective rate, you're doing no good anyway, and the effective rate is so far below ever doing any kind of damage, it's incredible. It's just like with water or oxygen. This much is good for you, this much will kill you, all right? So once you get past the effective limits, which we're not even, which we're at, once you pass that, you're doing no good. Also, as far as radiation limits go, Professor T.D. Lucky's ready to put out new standards because the United States goes what they call by an LNT theory, which means linear no threshold, okay, which means any amount of radiation is bad for you. That was made by Professor Muller in 1946, who won a Nobel Prize for that, by the way. But Professor Calabrese out of University of Massachusetts just this last November proved with a group of people and going through the records that the man lied, that he actually lied to get the prize. And so now what they're doing, and you're going to see this very soon, is they're resetting all the standards for the amount of radiation you're allowed to have.
All right, Brett, you had a follow-up question.
So, yeah, actually, before I get to that, I have one other follow-up to this line of thinking. Now, I hear you talking about thorium, I hear you talking about uranium. Are there other minerals in the ground? When I'm walking across the park, or if I'm taking a walk, you know, just down the road, am I walking over radioactive minerals, or do you have particular places, such as these mines, that you go in order to locate, in order to find this natural radioactive material?
Well, what happens is, okay, underneath the ground, like where I'm sitting right now, in the crust, in the earth, you're going to find thorium all over. Those are the frequencies of life. But when we go for more intense or more strong ores than when we're targeting tissues, okay, with everything we work with, we go to the mines, and we go about 1.5 miles underneath ground. So then we pull our stones out, we bring them back to Colorado, we cut them up, we fashion them in ways people can use them, and we measure them all out.
So in these mines, these deep mines, 1.5 miles deep, is where you're going to find stones of higher intensity with higher frequencies?
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, like, look, let's say, and by the way, you can buy hotter stuff on eBay. But what I'm saying is, if a judge ever says, hey, listen, you know, you can't have that radioactive rock, I can drive you to just about several national parks across the United States, just pull beside the road, have them open the door, and I can have them pick up a radioactive rock, usually hotter than what we send out to people. You see, it's everywhere. It's kind of like gold. Where's gold? It's where you find it.
Right, and where Obama's not far behind trying to steal it from you. Go ahead, Brett.
Well, yeah.
Now, my other question involved frequencies, and you're talking about frequencies, and the right frequencies are very, very healthful. Are you familiar with the Rife technology that also uses frequencies? Is it in any way related to what you do?
You're talking about Royal Rife?
Yes, actually it is, okay? In other words, if you take alternative healing as which we are, okay, and we have a protocol called the Three Divine Protocol we put people through, even working with our holistic MDs. Now, if you take alternative healing, you have two sides of the house. You have nutrition, supplements and such, okay, the way you eat them, and then the other side you have energy medicine, okay? Those are Rife machines, MOPAs, biofeedback machines. There's a whole list of them out there. What it is these people like Royal Rife, okay, now he was able to find a frequency that would shatter a cancer cell, okay? But so all these people have been trying to find all this right frequencies. Well, in actuality, we have the right frequency, and we have all along. We didn't even know it. See, what happened was, you can find the books written on radiation hormesis. Hormesis is a Greek word which means to excite, okay? So what we were doing all these years, getting people to see again, getting people to walk again, getting people cancer-free, what we've tried for years is trying to back up their theory on how they got better with radiation hormesis, okay? But that's not, we've spent so many years trying to match those up that, and since we're the ones working hands-on with this every day for years now, that's not what I'm seeing. In other words, we don't go by what they say anymore. We go by what we're seeing. And what we're seeing here, and I've proved in many ways, right in front of some of the best nuclear physicists in the world, is its frequencies, and it's not the isotopes. The correct life-giving frequency always does the right thing. In other words, it'll destroy and repair.
All right. Now, Chief, did you have another comment here?
No, I have a question. When we first started, you said you made jewelry out of this material, and then you became aware that it was creating health benefits. Was it necklaces or rings or what?
Yeah, I was making necklaces
and was anything better than something else?
Well, what we did is, okay, if you go to our website, like I say, it's nighthawkminerals.com, you'll see what we have in there. What we put most people on is on a kit, and on that kit there's a pendant, there's a water stone, a green stone, a mud pack, information and instructions. What those are is they're tools for you. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to systemically get these frequencies introduced into the body. And there's other things that we've learned to do over the years. I mean, like, let's take, I just had a woman with an open breast cancer. She actually had open breast cancer and lung cancer. 4-stage, the size of a grapefruit was the breast. Well, what we did is, we understand it was frequencies. What we did is we went ahead and we put them in the tubs of water, restructure the waters because water molecules have a memory, okay? So that's how you structure water. You're imprinting a frequency on a water molecule, it's spreading to others. It's the best way to get it to the body. So what we would do is we take these people with these open cancers like her, submerge them into fully into the waters, okay? Of course, she have her own separate tub, but it doesn't matter because anything in those waters where the pH is perfect and it can't be changed, anything acidic, it's going to shatter. Anything that's a toxic molecular structure, it's going to shatter. So when we submerge these people into the waters, when they're fully with these frequencies, that's when you're getting your best.
All right, again, we try not to market products. We try and learn. That's what this show is about, getting input and giving people things to talk about. This concept of hormesis, meaning to excite, I now know where the word whore comes from, but that's another discussion. But the fact is that anyone who has some advanced knowledge of the human body knows that every part of the human body has a different frequency. Every type of cell has a different frequency. That was kind of Royal Rife's research. Natural radiation is a part of the Earth. It's a part of this planet that quote unquote God made. I'd like you to explain, if you would, Jay, how the alteration, like the enrichment of uranium, how that's done and how that changes the frequency.
Okay, what they've done now, if you take natural radiation compared to, say, X-ray radiation, okay, they've taken, let's say, uranium, and they've spun it. They spin it and spin it and spin it, okay? If you look at those two radiations, they're actually separate. Natural radiation is electrons going around protons, okay? X-ray radiation is protons going around electrons. They've reversed it, okay? So now natural is what we're looking for. When they've enriched it or altered it, like I said, it becomes an untruth.
Now, you mentioned a Geiger counter. Everyone thinks of Geiger counters being to test things that are too hot so that people won't get radiation poisoning. And you mentioned these are very low levels. But can a Geiger counter tell you the difference between natural radiation and altered, enhanced, enriched radiation?
Certain ones can, and that's where you're going off, because, see, when you're measuring radiation, like natural radiation is what they call isotopes coming off it. Alpha, beta, and gamma, okay? Alpha won't go into your skin, beta just goes in about 1.5 inches or so, and then gamma goes right through your body. X-ray will go right through your body. So you can put up certain shields to see what's stopping what, okay? These particles are big. Now, as far as isotopes go with radiation, what we're seeing is those isotopes are actually just more or less like they're burnt cinders is what they are. They come off, any scientist tell you they're like burnt cinders. They're just like running a battery. It's the frequencies they're powering. We see it, approved it, we validated it.
All right, Brent, you have another thought?
No, that's just fine. I was just following through this and everything. I find it fascinating and very interesting. I do know the frequency method of therapy is very effective.
Now, Jay, and we're going to run out of time in a minute. Many people have been told and believe, and Steve alluded to it, Chief Steve, that once radiation is present, it'll stay for 10,000 years. Obviously, natural radiation, you want to be around. It's part of the Earth. But we have also seen that places like Hiroshima and Nagasaki, places like Japan where they've had, or 3 Mile Island or Chernobyl, that people are back living in those places and there's no adverse problem.
They're flourishing. They're flourishing. Now, what it is now with different kinds of radiation, as they call isotopes, okay, you have different half-lives, okay? So in other words, the radiation they're using, like on a bomb, it doesn't have a long half-life. It won't stick around that long. It burns itself out. Now, with natural radiation, like our stones, when we get them out to people, it's like a first aid kit that never expires. It has a half-life of 250,000 years. It just depends on the kind of radiation.
All right, and maybe you want to follow up on this, Steve?
No, I think we're on track now, and I've got my questions answered, but I'm still like to hear more about the I'm going to get this confused, but the enhanced radiation, like a military bomb, how long does that radiation last if it's contaminated the earth or water?
Now you see, and then there's also, because there's so many variables that come into play there, there's also the material that they've used too. See, there's many different kinds of radiation, depending on what kind they were using in the bomb, and there's lists of the half-lives on this material. Could be a year, could be 250,000 years, okay? But for most stuff, like for a bomb, let's say, oh, heck, and I wonder if I'll pick this up on the phone, but some people are telling me, like, the best thing for people's health in New York City would be to drop a small, dirty bomb, you know? But their half-life, their lives aren't that long. It's not going to say radioactive forever. Look at Chernobyl. Chernobyl, when they evacuated everybody out of there, but they went back a couple years later, and the animals and the flora, everything was just flourishing. All right, we just missed it. It's going as fast as we want. We didn't really see what was actually fixing our people. In other words, what the man tells me I'm working with in Virginia with bees and some agriculture with this, he says, you know what you got there, Jay? You got the key. And he's correct. We've missed so much. There's so many things we're just scratching the surface with here that we're being able to help with a natural radiation. Like I say, the bombs they set off, that's a whole different subject. I mean, it's a whole different animal because depending on the kind of radiation they have, it's going to depend on how long it's going to stay there.
But the reality is, there's no place on the face of the earth, as we speak right now, that is unsuitable for human habitation. We don't have any quote-unquote dead zones. With all of the talk, we just mentioned Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island, and I mean, they had a ship where they had a nuclear accident, and they just, sent the ship to a ship wash and put it back in service.
Yeah.
Well, and
we need to educate ourselves more. And like I say, and I know you guys don't market and stuff, we're out to help people. But if you want to learn about natural and regular radiation, hormesis is what they call it, you can go to our website. We got links to all kinds of research material you can find.
And that website again is?
Night, as in Night, Hawk Minerals.
NighthawkMinerals.com. All right.
Actually, I want to add this real quick. Because I'm a medicine man, the real thing, papered and all, but everybody thinks because I call the company Nighthawk Minerals, it's because it's the Indian thing. Actually, Nighthawk Minerals was named after a couple of helicopter guys I lost in an accident last night. They hit a tower, but they were under night vision goggles. We call those guys Nighthawks.
Oh, there you go. All right, now, Brent, you had another comment?
Just to comment, because I'm hearing this stuff about Chernobyl, and everything in Chernobyl is growing, and everybody's wonderful. And all of my information says the exact opposite, that, a decade plus after the incident in Chernobyl, there are increasing incidents of cancer, not just in Chernobyl, but in surrounding areas. There are, by the way, no man's lands, places like the Sahara Desert, Stan.
Yeah, but not
Chernobyl,
for radiation.
as I understand it, but yeah, that I understand what you're saying. But Chernobyl, as I understand it, is not a particularly healthy place. So I have to
if you look at Chernobyl
and ask you, am I wrong about this?
Brent, hold on. Let's see if Jay can comment. Go ahead, Jay.
If you look at Chernobyl, okay, as far as like they were talking about, an increase of leukemia rates. Well, let me tell you something here, and this is what I do for a living and searching out. These guys, they never really kept track of it before. In other words, a lot of these things they're catching now, all right, are stuff they never kept track of before. Because like with what we're seeing, most all cancer, especially in an area like that we're seeing, is caused by parasites, for goodness sake. It's not radiation. We're using radiation to heal people.
Well, again, I'm not suggesting we have any more Chernobyls by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that we've been told things are worse than reality has proved them to be. Jay, we are out of time. I really appreciate you being with us. I'm going to go to your website and see if I can learn more, and we'll have you back. Thank you, my friend.
God bless you guys.
All righty. Folks, stay tuned. We have an exciting schedule for you. Phyllis Schlafly, one of America's greatest people, much less ladies, will join us. She founded the Eagle Forum. She fought the Equal Rights Amendment successfully, and she's going to grace us with her presence in just a moment. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You have a computer, if you're alive today, which means you have a hard drive, which means it's going to break down. Mosey, the backup people, for thousands, for Stan, for thousands of people, for tens of thousands of people, is simply common sense. You go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and sign up. It's just a few dollars a month. Let me tell you something. We had a break-in. They stole our whole computer. You know what? When they take the computer, you can't recover anything, but we had Mosey. We had the backup. We were able to restore everything simply by buying another computer. cpnlive.com, click on the icon for Mosey, the backup people, and give yourself common sense, peace of mind, great value, the best thing you've ever done. Sooner or later, it's going to be Mosey, the backup people. I like to eat. Do you like to eat? We all do. And usually we run to the grocery store, we run to the convenience store, or we have something in the fridge. But power's been out in parts of this country in the last few weeks. We don't know what's going to come down the pike economically. Smart people are putting in food. Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves is a line of foods that you can put away that will last for a very long time. You know, they say eat what you store and store what you eat. This is great tasting stuff, healthy for you, a full line. You go to our website, cpnlive.com, and click on the button for Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves and see all the different things we have. This is good tasting food. It's reasonably priced. It will last. And it's worth its weight in gold if a problem arises. I know you don't think there's going to be anything that goes wrong. Actually, you do. This is smart. This is smart insurance. This is smart preparation. This is smart thinking. You have kids, you have a spouse, you have parents, you have dependents, you have an appetite. All those things can be addressed by a frugal but smart investment in Alpine Air Gourmet Reserves. Try them out. You will be tickled to death with the taste of them. You know what? In many cases, people start to eat this and they think, heck, this tastes better and costs less than what you're going to the grocery store to buy. cpnlive.com, check it out. Hey, my name is Stan Solomon, and you know if I have something to say, I'll say it. And I'll only tell you the truth because I'm a Republican, not a Democrat. Democrats always lie. Republicans only lie half the time. I don't lie at all. This is the Fuel Mule. It's an extraordinary product that was developed by a friend of mine, an engineer, and it increases the fuel mileage on your vehicle. If you have a combustion engine, this will increase your mileage by 10 to 20%. It bolts around your fuel line. You can install it yourself or have your mechanic do it. It is an extraordinary item, and it flat works. I've been using it for more than 10 years. It's increased my mileage on every vehicle I put it on, and by the way, it will last forever. You can get rid of your vehicle, just take it off and put on the next one. Go to cpnlive.com. You'll have more information there. You can order it right there. We absolutely guarantee you'll be satisfied. The Fuel Mule. It's a way to kick down your cost of fuel and kick up your mileage. Don't you love the name? I thought of it. The Fuel Mule. Let me ask you a question. Do you like being sick? I have in my hand an incredible product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. TR10 stands for a trace to the negative 10th power. The particles in this silver product are 6 to 8 angstroms, 6 to 8 10 billionths of a meter. Now listen to me. Silver has been the magic bullet for all of human existence. The Egyptians used silver instruments. We use silverware. They put silver in your teeth because nothing can grow on silver. Silver will kill anything but liberalism. I'm working on that. This product, you go to cpnlive.com, buy 1 quart of this product. It will last you for a very long time. Anytime you feel like you've been exposed to something bad, take some of this product, spray it in your mouth, or take a little bit and gargle it, swallow it. It will kill any pathogen. The average antibiotic kills 10 to 20 different pathogens. This product will kill 700 plus. Do yourself a favor, do your family a favor, do your doctor a favor. He's tired of seeing you. Get Supercolloidal Silver. Go to cpnlive.com, order the product. It's $29.95 plus shipping. I think it's $39.95 delivered any place in America right to your door. It's worth 10 times that. Check it out. If you're not 100% happy, just return it and we'll give you your money back. Do you like being healthy? I do. In fact, this product, which I've been taking for years now, is absolutely the answer. Now, you may not believe it, but I'm actually 21, plus tax, of course. This product has 146 different healthful nutrients in it, and it's liquid, so it's bioavailable. It tastes great, and it's sugar-free. 1 ounce of Sonic Life each day will help you to maintain and enhance your health. It's a kind of a gift, well, that you'll thank your mom for, your husband for, your wife for, your kids for. Whoever you give it to, they're going to say thank you. And you are going to enjoy the benefits of having all the vitamins, all the minerals, all the nutrients your body needs in one very reasonably priced product. Just go to cpnlive.com and everything's right there. You'll be able to read all the ingredients. The price is right there, a flat price delivered to your door anywhere in the United States of America. Sonic Life is a gift, a great gift. Give it to yourself. I do.